Mindfulness of movement. Feeling your way back into the body through playing with movement and breath. You can do these two following mindfulness of movement practices either sitting or standing, and you can choose to modify the movements. For instance, you might begin with your easier side, or you might substitute your toes for your fingers, or your ankles for your wrists. Just play around with whatever feels more comfortable for you. Last week, we looked at how you're often advised to adopt an alert and dignified sitting position for mindfulness. But we realise, when living with persistent pain, that any sitting position is fine as long as you are comfortable and as supported as you feel you need to be. This week, we're also going to look at how you might set yourself up in a standing position that's comfortable and alert too, if that's what you choose to do. So let's talk about the standing position now. If you're choosing to stand, preferably do so with sock or bare feet so you can get into contact with the floor beneath you. Line up the crown of your head, your shoulders, your pelvis. Soften your knees so they're not locked, and your feet. You might put your feet around about hip width apart, but there's no perfect way of doing that. Spread out your toes and feel the four corners of your feet come into contact with the floor. Your big toe, your little toe, and your heels. Rock very gently to get these four corners connected with the ground. Check in on your belly and make it softer and looser, and soften your buttocks. Let your eyebrows and your nose and your ears feel heavy, and soften your mouth and your chin. If you're standing, only close your eyes if you want to and it feels safe. Otherwise, just pick a spot nearby and soften your gaze on it. Now for both those sitting and standing, I'd like you to lift up your hands so that your elbows are at a right angle and your cupped palms are facing upwards. If you decide to use your feet, then just pay attention to your toes. Soften your belly again, let your elbows feel heavy. Notice your breathing as it comes in and it draws out of your body. Follow it in and follow it out, allowing your belly to rise and fall just the way it wants to. Paying attention to the breath in your sides and your back. Once you've tuned into your breath, bring your fingertips together and then apart like a blossoming flower with each breath. If you're choosing to use your toes, spread your toes apart and then gently together like the blossoming flower. You can choose if you open or close with the in or the out breath, it's up to you. Allow your hands or your toes to breathe with your breath. And we'll continue that for a few more breaths. Sometimes it's a bit awkward to time your breath to your movements. Just allow your breath to do whatever it needs to do and change the movements to suit and fit your breath. Be curious about what you can feel as you move your hands or your toes. Now, allow your hands to settle by your sides. Allow your toes to come to rest. Give your hands and your feet a little shake. And now just notice how they feel now that they are still. Notice the difference. For the next exercise, gently hold one wrist loosely with the other hand, or indeed, gently raise one of your legs so that your ankle is free. Allow your elbows to feel heavy and your stomach and your buttocks to feel soft, your mouth and chin soft, and your eyebrows and ears and nose heavy. Gently circle your wrist within the space between your soft and hard edge, and if it's your ankle, gently circle your ankle. A circle for each breath, if that feels comfortable. No straining, keep it between the soft and the hard edge. Now reverse that movement again, keeping it between the soft and the hard edge for a few more rotations. You can rest your heel on the floor if that feels more comfortable. Now rest your hand at your side or on your lap, and if it's your feet, rest your foot on the floor. And notice how it feels now that it's come to rest. Notice any difference between one side and the other. Any sensations that are unusual? Be curious about what's there.